Time now for Chasing That Paper here on Vegas Insider. Welcome. Good morning. Kevin Rogers with you in for Joe Osborne. Joe's going to be back next Tuesday on the show. I'm with you again today and tomorrow. MTV's Devin Walker of The Challenge. He's going to join us coming up in just a few moments. Always love talking to Devin. He's got some college football picks for week one, which begins tomorrow. And Devin will have picks for the weekend. So looking forward to that. Also, we have our topic of the day. Who is going to pull off the biggest upset in college football coming up this weekend? We'll talk about that with Devin in just a little bit. But first, let's recap last night's Major League Baseball picks here on the show. 1 and 2, not so good. The Philadelphia Phillies, they got blown out by Arizona. We had the Phillies. Aaron Nola struggled the second inning. Bad one. So big L right there. Also, the Orioles and the Guardians, we had the over in that game, over of 8. They finished under. You want to know why? Because in the words of former Indians radio announcer Harry Doyle, a.k.a. Bob Uecker, the Orioles got one goddamn hit. That was it. You can't get overs when one team has one hit. So Cleveland won that game 5-1 last night. Had some opportunities, but could not hit the over. But we did cash on the Dane Dunning strikeout prop as the Rangers righty. 5 Ks, hit the over of 4.5 plus money. We'll take it. So 1 and 2, guess what? You move on to today. So let's look at our 3 Major League Baseball best bets, a side, a total, and a prop. Let's begin with the side. And the Boston Red Sox, they have been very much the roller coaster team in Major League Baseball this year. It seemed like they were playing better of late, and then they go to Minnesota, and they've lost the first 2 games. 2 games, in fact, that they led, and Minnesota came back and won. But we're going to go with the Boston Red Sox today as our first best bet. Road underdog at Target Field. And for the Red Sox, Michael Wacha takes the mound. He is 3-0 in his last 3 starts since coming off the injured list. Twins are on fire. They've won 5 straight. Can't deny that. But also, when you look at Joe Ryan, the starting pitcher for the Twins, he has not been the model of consistency. You see that stat, 0-3 in his last 3 starts after he won his previous start. So he won his last outing against San Francisco, but his last 3 times, he's lost the next time out. So let's go with the Boston Red Sox on the money line today as our first pick at Minnesota. Now, pick number 2. It's a total play, and we're going to Washington, D.C. When you talk about playoff teams, we're not talking about the A's and the Nationals, but they're hooking up tonight in D.C. Oakland outlasted Washington last night, easily hit the over. Now tonight, we're going to go the other way. When you zig, you got to zag sometimes. We're going to take the under tonight between the A's and Nationals of 8.5. Now, when you look at some of the numbers here, James Caprillion, 7-3 to the under his last 10 starts. Also, how about this little nugget? Oakland, 6-1 to the under the last 7 times, coming off a game that went over. So usually they don't go back-to-back overs, the A's. Also, Washington, 4-1-1 to the under their last 6 after losing the series opener. So Washington loses game 1. Normally that second game stays under the total. Let's ride it under A's Nationals as our second pick. Now for our third pick in Major League Baseball, a strikeout prop. Last night we had Dane Dunning. It hit. Jordan Lyles of the Orioles. He starts against the Guardians this evening. Cleveland, they are last in baseball in strikeouts, so always wary of that when you're taking over on a pitcher against the Guardians, but we're going to take the over on Jordan Lyles. Why? A, it's plus money. B, 7 consecutive road starts, at least 4 strikeouts for Lyles. Also, you don't see a 3.5 total for Lyles that often either. Second time in his last 11 starts that he has had a strikeout total of 3.5. Also, 3-1 on the over his last 4 strikeout props in the road. Let's go Jordan Lyles over his strikeout prop tonight against the Guardians of Cleveland. So, with all that being said, we transition now to college football, and we bring on, since it's a Wednesday here on Chasing That Paper, Devin Walker, MTV, The Challenge, and Devin, who always graces us with his presence, just like he did on the Daily Insider a long time ago. First time I've seen Devin since then. So, Devin, it's good to see you. You look younger every day. College football, it's back. How excited are you about college football now, week number 1?
Kevin Rogers, reunited and it feels so good. Absolutely crushed that. Hit him with a little vibrato there at the end. I'm as fired up as a human being can be, okay? I've got a hot blazer on, okay? So we're going to start there. College football is back, baby, and we have a extremely exciting and special announcement coming to you live very shortly. So, yeah, you could say I'm firing on all cylinders, Kevin.
Quick question before we get to the picks. Is that flamingo or salmon?
So we're going to go Nantucket Red here, and as I get into my picks, you will hear exactly why I chose this particular blazer out of my plethora of available options.
Now, your 3 picks for this weekend in college football, we're doing 2 Saturday games and a Sunday game. They all are SEC related, okay? So, which seems like the SEC is always that way. They're all related. But Oregon and Georgia, let's begin with that game. In Atlanta, Saturday, the defending national champion Bulldogs taking on the Duckies. What do you think about this matchup? Who do you like?
This one was really jumping off the page for me when I saw that number 53.5. It's too high. Does anybody remember the Georgia Bulldogs defense? Did they lose a few guys? Absolutely. But powerhouse programs like that get better somehow each and every year. And I think the Georgia Bulldogs are truly hitting their stride here in 2022. It will be tough to defend a national championship run, obviously, but if they have hopes of doing so, it's going to start on the defensive end. UGA defense is still elite, 10.2 points per game allowed last season. That is ridiculous. Okay, going up against an Oregon team with a new quarterback, a very accomplished quarterback in Bo, but I really do feel like both of these offenses are going to struggle early in the season as they look to find their groove, and this is not a Georgia team that you want to face when you're looking to find your groove. If Georgia's going to have success in this game, and I think that they will, it'll start on the defensive end. It is in Georgia. That place will be an absolute madhouse. So give me the under 53.5, and I'm not worried about it being close, Kev.
And also, too, Devin, with Oregon, as you heard the Ric Flair, woo! Oregon, they have a new head coach, Dan Lanning, who was the former defensive coordinator at Georgia. So obviously defensive-minded guy. We always think of Oregon as scoring a ton of points. So now with Bo Nix, who's not exactly Marcus Mariota or some of the other quarterbacks have had at Oregon, that could be a good look there. And I'm sure Georgia, that they're not going to probably light up their old defensive coordinator. So under Oregon, Georgia. Now your second pick, Alabama, Utah State. Before we look at that, I know that Utah State kind of screwed you a little bit last week.
Utah State is dead to me. Did they beat UConn? Yes. Did they cover? No. Did they implode our cross-pollination parlay, which had 2 of 3 legs hit coming into that game? Absolutely. Did I hedge? Absolutely not. Should I have? Yes. Instead, did I double down live? Obviously. So, I've got a lot of pent-up aggression for Utah State, and this brings me to the story of my blazer. Is it crimson? No, but Nantucket Red is right there, baby. We are going to roll Tide all the way to the finish line. Minus 40.5 seems like a big number. Utah State stinks. Alabama 12-2 against the spread in season openers under Nick Saban. Alabama went 4-2 against the spread at home last season. All 4 covers were double-digit spreads. This is a team that will not beat people this season. They will absolutely obliterate them. Utah State, you stink. Honestly, I'm done with the entire state of Utah, one of the most beautiful places on earth, not a football school, okay? And football state. And I'm really just hoping that Alabama comes out and does exactly what I think that they will do, which is blow Utah State out of the water. This spread might be handled in the first half. Alabama could be the best college football team that I've seen without seeing in my lifetime. Nick Saban is pissed off. and they have, Heisman candidate after Heisman candidate potentially at the skill positions. Their defense is absolutely savage. They somehow got better after, being the runner up in the championship. So I'm expecting Alabama to do what Alabama does, come out and dominate this matchup. Give me Alabama minus 40.5.
Is Nick Saban ever happy?
No, he's best friends with Bill Belichick. There's not a ton of joy there. I can't imagine.
Because you look at that, you say he's pissed off. I feel like that's like his normal mood, and being happy is kind of like off kilter for him.
That's fair, but I think that we're really going to see a maybe happy isn't the right, or pissed off isn't the right word, but a extremely volatile Nick Saban on the sidelines. They are looking for perfection this season, and that's what it's going to take for them to come in and win this national championship against some absolute dogs. Obviously we mentioned Georgia. Ohio State's looking very good. I wouldn't sleep on Michigan. So if Alabama wants to do what obviously every team in college football wants to do, which is win a national championship, it's gonna start this weekend, and they're gonna need to make a statement. I believe that they'll do it.
Well, you have Alabama laying the points, laying the lumber. His former team, Nick Saban, LSU, they are facing Florida State at the Superdome coming up on Sunday evening. FSU's got a game under their belts, and you will actually be gracing the great state of Louisiana with your attendance there.
I will be live in uncut at the Superdome on Sunday for the FSU LSU football game, the one we've all been waiting for, realistically the game of the week. I'll also be going to watch UMass Tulane. That one probably not going to get as many eyes, but I feel really confident about my FSU Noles. This is a team that severely underperformed last season. I expect a big bounce back year from FSU, and it is going to start with Jordan Travis. This is a dual threat quarterback who is good with time. The offensive line of FSU has gotten significantly better. We are talking about big plays down the field in a defense that can hold their own. FSU has won 5 of Travis's last 7 starts. 11 TDs, 2 interceptions, including 6 rushing TDs. This is the definition of a dual threat quarterback, and he is exactly who the FSU Noles need to put them into contention yet again. I'm actually taking the over on FSU wins at 6.5 this season. I'm hammering FSU with every available option, and it's not just because I'm a fan. I think that this team got significantly better in the offseason. I think that they patched up a lot of holes, and that is not a school that accepts losing. So, this is a big season for the coaching staff, for the players, and if they want to make a run, they have to win this game. So I'm expecting FSU not only to cover the points, I'm taking a money line. It's good value. Yes, it's going to be a hostile environment in the Superdome, but I think we're looking at about 75-25 LSU to FSU fans. FSU fans travel. I think that there's going to be parts of that stadium that feel like home, and I'm expecting FSU to come out and steamroll LSU. So we will see if that prediction is correct. Bit of a homer play, but give me FSU money line, baby. I'm not scared. Noles!
Well, the good news, though, Devin, is in spite of the fact it was Duquesne, for 4 or 5 years, they didn't win a season opener, so they have a little bit of confidence under their belt, and LSU's got a new coach in Brian Kelly come from Notre Dame, so at least they got that going for them also going to Sunday. At least you're 1-0.
Absolutely. And no one can forget that Brian Kelly photo shoot. So don't think that that won't be on the minds of his players while they run out of that tunnel. Absolutely abysmal performance, in front of the camera there. So yes, you mentioned Duquesne. Are they a JV high school football team? Yes. Did the Noles take care of business? Yes. So I'm expecting them to perform at a high level in front of my very eyes, because again, I will be there live and uncut, not provoking LSU fans. Okay. I know better than that. I've been to New Orleans. I know the passion, but I'll be there, and I will be, I'll be focused, in giving my thoughts to the FSU Noles, because this is a big game, as I've mentioned several times now in this monologue, and they have to have it. I believe they'll get it. I'm taking FSU money line all day long.
Now, Devin's going to be with us just in another moment. He's got a big announcement to make. We also have our topic of the day, big upset in college football this weekend. Who is it going to be? But before we get to that, I want to tell you about Bet365, as Vegas Insider and Bet365 have teamed up, and a great deal for new players. Bet365 Sportsbook is offering an exclusive bonus. Customers can bet $1 and get $2 in free bets. Users must use the code NJVIP at signup and be located in a legal betting state where Bet365 is licensed. This is for new users only, and full terms and conditions apply. Again, a great, amazing welcome offer from Bet365. They've teamed up with Vegas Insider, so check them out today. All right, Devin, time now for our topic of the day. We know it's college football. We know it's tough to pull upsets, especially in week one, but we got to find an upset, you and I each. Who is going to be the big upset in week one? I'll begin with you. Tell me that team.
So this one, again, jumped off the page, and had I not, saved this for the topic of the day, it probably would have been in one of my three plays. Cincinnati money line, plus 190. Is it a misprint? It could be. It seems like it. We're talking about the same Cincinnati team that is 22-2 in the last two seasons, going up against a Arkansas team that struggles against ranked matchups. 3-8 under Pittman. Cincinnati should take this game handily. I'm expecting the Cincinnati of last season. I'm expecting the Arkansas of seasons past. And I really do believe that this Cincinnati team can make another historic run. They are, well disciplined. They've got experience in big games. This is a top 25 matchup to start the season. One of these teams is going to be either made or broken. It is a make or break game week one. And I'm going to take Cincinnati to take care of business there. Plus 190. The number is too good. If you're scared, go to church or, wherever else you want to go. But don't bring it here, because we're taking Cincinnati on the money line, baby. Plus 190.
And also, too, another note on Arkansas, Devin, is that last year they beat Texas as a home dog. They beat Texas A&M as an underdog. Now all of a sudden you're laying points, and the quarterback from Cincinnati was with the Bearcats, went to Eastern Michigan and came back. So now with Desmond Ridder gone to the NFL, still a pretty good Cincinnati team, still a team that was in the college football playoffs. So seems like a little bit of disrespect there for the Bearcats. So your upset is going to be Cincinnati beating Arkansas outright coming up on Saturday. We're going to stick with the SEC theme here. I know it's not a lot of points, Devin, but my upset pains me as a Florida State graduate, but I'm going to take the points of the Florida Gators and money line them against Utah coming up on Saturday night at the Swamp. Now, number one, Florida has won an amazing, the number is 32 consecutive home openers. Now, granted, there's been a lot of teams that maybe are directional schools or have A&M or A&T at the end of their name, but the good news is Florida, though, with Anthony Richardson, he is an excellent quarterback. Now you have a new head coach, new attitude with Billy Napier, the former Louisiana head coach. You see the non-conference home game record, 79-9 over the last 30 years. And you know what, too? They ended last season with a real dud, losing to UCF in their bowl game as a heavy favorite. They lost at South Carolina as a heavy favorite. They lost to Missouri as a favorite. They lost at LSU as a favorite. Now you're getting points with the Gators here at home. Saturday night game in the Swamp. Utah's got to go cross-country. Utah, excellent team out of the Pac-12. Not taken away from them. But with Florida, this is their spot. Disrespected, that's the way they feel. Home opener, getting points. You never see that with them. You F it. I'm taking the Gators. Got to do it, Devin. Got to take the Gators here. And I understand they're not getting 15 points or 20 points, but let's be realistic, all right? You're not going to take Utah State plus 40 to win outright against Alabama. Like, that's not happening. You try to find the upset in week one of college football. We just can't take teams that are 3 touchdown or more underdogs. We got to find something reasonable. You have Cincinnati, I have Florida. So at least the good news is let's root for these teams. And look, a lot of SEC breakdown today, Devin. We hit on 5 games in the SEC. So all the SEC honks out there, you're welcome.
Well, Kevin, also, just to piggyback on what you're saying here, you know what state Utah is in, right? And that would be Utah. And you know how we feel about teams from Utah. Fuck them, okay? One strike policy with your boy here. So it's going to be Florida. And I'm going to take this even one step further because you know I like to do that. It's got to be a money line parlay, Cincy in Florida for me. We're running it back to the old Daily Insider days here on Chasing That Paper. It is a Kevin Rogers, Devin Walker parlay, and it is Florida and Cincy money lines. I don't know where the math is on that. Go to VegasInsider.com, check out the parlay builder portion of that website to get the exact number, but it's going to be something juicy, and I am all over it, Kevin.
Might as well. I mean, there's no reason to think they could not win. It's not insane. You know, when you look at some of their matchups, you're like, okay, this is not happening. Like, this has a very good chance to happen. So, speaking of which, Devin Walker of MTV, that's where you know him from. All right, the challenge. Devin has got a huge announcement to make right this moment. Devin, the floor is yours.
This could be the biggest announcement of the last decade, period. I don't want to, overhype it, but the time has come for me to not fully branch out on my own, but to carve out my own little space in this betting world. And to do that, we will be combining the two things that I don't know if I'm the best at, but certainly the two things I do the most, which is the challenge and betting on sports in particular. And we are going to do that with a show called Bet on Devin. Yes, you heard it correct. We've got our very own show. I will be joined by Tommy Freezepops as a co-host, and this is going to be a weekly podcast where you will get all of our steaming hot takes on sports, as well as all of these steaming hot lava, as one Wes Bergman would say. Could be a bit of a teaser there on the challenge legends stopping in, maybe even NFL players. All of this will be available on the Vegas Insider podcast feed, and you'll be able to watch all of our interviews on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. This is something that you do not want to miss. Our first episode will be up and live on Wednesday night. That's right. We are less than a week away from NFL football and Bet on Devin.
We are very much looking forward to it. And Devin, who has been with Vegas Insider for the last few months, made, I guess, the soft launch in a sense, the soft jumping in point on the Daily Insider months ago, and now a big part of Chasing That Paper every Wednesday, usually with Joe Osborne. He'll be on with Joe again next Wednesday at 11 a.m. And now Bet on Devin. And you can find that podcast at Vegas Insider every Wednesday afternoon. So looking forward to that. Devin, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Best of luck with your plays, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. Bet on Devin, baby. Hashtag Bet on Devin.
That is Devin Walker of The Challenge. MTV's The Challenge, and always good to have Devin on. Brings a lot of energy to the show, which we really like here. And he'll be on with Joe coming up again next Wednesday here at 11 a.m. on Chasing That Paper. And a couple of notes here before we head out. Number one, that down to the wire again tonight at 6 o'clock, Patrick Everson will be in this evening. And Patrick, one of the new additions to Vegas Insider, he covers the sports gambling world and he's got a lot of great nuggets about where the money's going. He will be hosting the show this evening for me at 6 o'clock. And we'll be back with you coming up at 11 a.m. tomorrow for Chasing That Paper. Ian McMillan will join us coming up tomorrow morning, and we'll go over some more baseball with him and look ahead to the college football weekend. Still a week away from the NFL. 1 week away, 8 days away from the NFL kicking off, the Bills and the Rams at SoFi Stadium. And then September 11th is the full week one NFL slate. So got so much to look forward to. Don't forget, Joe's coming back on Tuesday, and he'll be back driving the show here on Chasing That Paper. And our thanks to Devin Walker of MTV for joining us. Again, Bet on Devin. You can find that every Wednesday starting next week here at Vegas Insider, the new podcast. And you can find it on the Vegas Insider podcast feed or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, you can watch full interviews with Devin and his friends from the Challenge universe on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. So it should be very exciting, a good addition here as we've expanded our media coverage over the last year or so at Vegas Insider. So very excited to have Devin with us at Vegas Insider. All right, we will talk to you again coming up tomorrow at 11 a.m. for Chasing That Paper. Don't forget about Down to the Wire tonight at 6 o'clock on our Vegas Insider channel on YouTube, Vegas Insider TV with Patrick Everson. I am Kevin Rogers. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, best of luck with your bets.